In a luxurious apartment on the 45th floor of a skyscraper, Amelia, the social media queen with over 10 million followers, held her expensive phone, smiling contentedly as notifications of likes, shares, and comments flooded in. Her latest photo, taken with an elderly man who was supposedly homeless, had garnered over 2 million likes in just 5 hours. In the picture, Amelia appeared with a gentle smile, sparkling eyes, and a caring gesture as she handed a hot meal to the man. The caption accompanying the photo moved her followers. "Kindness needs no reason. As long as we open our hearts, the world will be a better place." Millions admired Amelia, hailing her as the goddess of compassion. But inside the luxurious apartment, the truth was far from the image portrayed. "We'll release a behind-the-scenes video tomorrow," Lily, Amelia's personal assistant, said while typing rapidly on her laptop. "This will show the audience that you genuinely care and aren't just putting on a show." Amelia chuckled dismissively, indifferent to Lily's words. "As long as it generates high engagement, I don't care what anyone thinks." In the corner of the room, Mr. George, the elderly man from the photo, sat on a chair sipping a glass of water. He wasn't homeless. He was an actor hired for $200. His silver hair and trembling hands were not signs of hardship but of performance. The next morning, as Amelia prepared for a new photo shoot, Lily received a strange email. The sender introduced himself as Ethan, Mr. George's son. The email contained just a few lines. "My name is Ethan, and I'm the son of Mr. George, the man in your latest photo. I want to know why my father appeared in that image and why he was portrayed as a homeless man. Please respond, or I will find you." Lily anxiously showed the email to Amelia, but instead of worrying, Amelia simply smirked. "Let him do whatever he wants. We've done nothing wrong." However, unease began to creep into Amelia's heart. She couldn't anticipate that Ethan was not someone to be ignored. 3 days later, Ethan appeared on a popular forum with a lengthy post exposing Amelia's staged photo. He provided evidence: a copy of the contract hiring Mr. George, messages from an anonymous source revealing the truth, and a secretly filmed video of the photo shoot. The post quickly garnered millions of views and thousands of comments. A wave of outrage erupted. "So it was all fake. She's nothing but a fraud. We demand the truth." Meanwhile, reporters and journalists swarmed to Amelia's apartment. Outside, a group of people gathered with signs. "We want the truth!" Amelia locked herself inside, cutting off all communication. But her silence only fueled the public's fury. In a desperate attempt to manage the situation, Amelia agreed to a live television interview. Facing millions of viewers, she tried to defend herself. "I just wanted to spread a positive message. Maybe I made a mistake in staging the photo, but my intentions were never bad." However, the host didn't let her off easily. "Do you think that staging something like this is not only deceptive, but also damages the public's trust?" The question left Amelia stunned. The image of a strong queen shattered in an instant. After the interview, Amelia's reputation completely collapsed. Brands canceled contracts, her peers in the entertainment industry turned their backs on her, and even Lily, her most loyal assistant, resigned. In a moment of despair, Amelia drove out of the city. On the road, she encountered a group of genuinely homeless people. Seeing them shivering in the cold rain, she felt remorse for exploiting the image of such individuals for personal gain. Amelia stopped her car and decided to do something she had never done before: help without filming. The rain poured relentlessly, and the cold wind cut through the thin coats of the homeless individuals. Under the dim streetlights, Amelia stepped out of her car and cautiously approached them. For a moment, she was no longer the glamorous social media queen. An elderly woman looked up at Amelia, her sunken eyes filled with fatigue. "What do you want?" "We have nothing to give you." Amelia knelt down and placed bags of food and a thick coat she had taken from her car in front of the woman. "I don't want anything. I just want to help." The woman hesitated, her eyes filled with a mix of suspicion and surprise. A young, thin man sitting nearby chuckled sarcastically. "Don't tell me you're one of those people filming charity vlogs for likes?" Amelia stayed silent, her heart tightening. Those words felt like a dagger piercing her soul. "No, I'm not filming anything. I just want to make things right," she said, her voice trembling. She stayed with them throughout the night, helping the group shield themselves from the rain and sharing what she had. For the first time, Amelia no longer cared about her image or reputation. The following morning, as Amelia prepared to leave, a familiar figure appeared in the distance. It was Ethan, the man who had exposed her online. Ethan stood there, his gaze cold and unyielding. "I didn't expect to find you here. What do you want now? Trying to clean up your image?" Amelia was startled, but this time she didn't shy away. "I don't need anyone to believe me anymore. I just want to atone for my mistakes. But if you want, you can take me to court." Ethan didn't respond immediately. He glanced around, noticing the homeless individuals holding the items Amelia had just given them. One of the men spoke up. "She stayed with us all night. She didn't record anything." Surprise flickered in Ethan's eyes. He hadn't expected the woman who once staged everything to now genuinely be helping others. "My father was right," Ethan murmured. "Anyone can change." Ethan revealed that after the scandal, Mr. George was deeply shocked. He felt ashamed for letting his dignity be exploited, but he also wrestled with guilt for participating in the stage plan. "My father wants to meet you," Ethan said. Amelia hesitated but eventually agreed. Together, they drove to a small house on the outskirts of the city. There, Mr. George sat in an old wooden chair, gazing out at the garden. "So you've come," Mr. George said, his voice deep but tinged with weariness. "I'm sorry," Amelia said, bowing her head. "I have no excuses, but I want to make amends." Mr. George sighed. "You know, I've been in your shoes before. When I was younger, I lied to get what I wanted, but I learned that deceit always comes at a price." Amelia listened quietly. His words felt like a confession, but also the lesson she needed to hear. Before leaving, Amelia promised Mr. George and Ethan that her efforts wouldn't be fleeting. She decided to use her resources and skills to create a platform to support the homeless. Amelia began immersing herself in the lives of those she once saw as media content. She interacted with them, documenting their stories, not for likes, but to inspire real change. However, not everyone believed her. On social media, her posts were still criticized as fake, but Amelia refused to give up. One day, she received a letter from a stranger. It contained only one sentence. "Thank you. Because of you, I found a reason to keep living." While Amelia was slowly regaining the trust of some, an unexpected incident occurred. A member of the homeless group she had been helping was arrested for theft. The media quickly seized the story, accusing Amelia of supporting criminals. Amelia was forced to face her biggest challenge yet, defending the dignity of the people she was helping, while her own reputation still hung by a thread. She organized a press conference, but this time, instead of being defensive, she openly admitted her past mistakes and shared her journey of transformation. "I'm not asking for forgiveness. I only want people to understand that everyone makes mistakes. What matters is how we choose to correct them." Sitting alone in her office, her desk cluttered with documents and drafts, Amelia's eyes wandered. The relentless criticism echoed in her mind. Despite her efforts to change, many still refused to forgive her past. The image of her walking into the press conference remained vivid in her memory. The crowd of reporters, the sharp questions, the skeptical eyes. Each moment reminded her that she was no longer the celebrated social media queen. Lily, her former assistant, had been silently watching from afar. Though she had resigned, her concern for Amelia hadn't diminished. On a rainy morning, Lily paid Amelia a visit with a firm piece of advice. "Amelia, you can't keep living in the past. Nothing will change if you don't move forward." Amelia sighed. "But how can I move on when everything has already crumbled? No one believes in me anymore, Lily." "So are you going to give up? Is there truly nothing left to salvage?" Lily asked, her gaze filled with empathy, but also determination. Amelia remained silent, her eyes fixed on the rain-streaked window. Each drop felt like a painful memory, yet deep within, she sensed a faint glimmer of hope. If she didn't save herself, who would? Determined not to give up, Amelia decided to approach things differently. She returned to her original goal, helping the homeless, not as a queen seeking attention, but as a genuine individual. She revisited impoverished neighborhoods, meeting people who truly needed assistance. Honest conversations began to unfold, and Amelia no longer kept her distance. One of the first people she met was Mr. Simon, an elderly man who looked weary but had eyes full of determination. He shared his story, a man who once had a family and a stable career, but fell into poverty due to past mistakes and unforeseen losses. Since then, he had dedicated the rest of his life to helping others like himself. "Sometimes, Amelia," Mr. Simon said in his raspy voice, "all it takes is one person to understand you. Someone who can see the value in what you do, even when you have nothing left." His words struck a chord with Amelia. She realized that the people she was helping weren't tools for building her image, but individuals with stories, dreams, and, most importantly, a need for a chance. With newfound determination, Amelia embarked on her most ambitious project yet, a long-term campaign to support and provide opportunities for the homeless to regain hope. She no longer rushed to promote her image on social media, but instead focused on taking tangible actions. However, fate was never easy. One morning, as Amelia prepared for a program to assist the unemployed, she received an unexpected call from an old acquaintance, a former colleague in the media industry. "Amelia, you can't keep doing this. People will never accept you without a proper PR campaign. Stop dreaming about saving those people without backing from major corporations." Amelia remained silent. She understood the reality of the situation, but this time, she refused to rely on fame to resolve it. Just as she decided to stay on her chosen path, a shocking event occurred. A severe traffic accident involving one of the homeless individuals she had helped left the victim critically injured, with no one stepping forward to help. The police couldn't determine the cause, and people blamed the chaos in impoverished neighborhoods. Amelia launched a campaign to gather aid for the victim, but this only fueled her critics. Articles resurfaced, accusing her of exploiting suffering to rebuild her image. The more Amelia threw herself into her work, the more chaotic her personal life became. The pressure from her work, public scrutiny, and misunderstandings from others began to weigh on her. One day, she received an anonymous email about a secret event tied to the very people she was helping. The email was a warning, revealing that a criminal organization was exploiting the homeless for drug and weapon trafficking. Amelia was horrified to discover that her work had inadvertently brushed against a dangerous network. Unsure if she could handle the situation, her resolve remained unshaken. She started investigating, seeking clues and confiding in trustworthy individuals within the impoverished communities. Gradually, she unearthed a shocking truth. Many of the people she had helped were living under the coercion of this criminal group. Amelia realized that money and charity alone weren't enough. She needed to fight, not just against the criminals, but also against society's prejudices toward the homeless. Slowly, Amelia built a covert support network to aid those under duress. She partnered with the police, social organizations, and influential figures to dismantle the criminal operation. It was a grueling process, but Amelia persisted. In the end, the criminal organization was brought to justice, and the homeless individuals she had supported were freed from their dire circumstances. Amelia not only saved them, but also redeemed herself. When everything settled, Amelia stood before a camera, not to answer reporters or promote a campaign, but to share what she had learned. The world isn't always fair, but we can make it better by standing firm for what's right, even when faced with the worst. Amelia's journey, from a social media queen to a woman who owned up to her mistakes and sought to make amends, inspired many. Like a planted seed, kindness and respect began to grow within the community. Just as Amelia started to feel her work gaining meaning and trust slowly returning, an old friend from her early social media days resurfaced. Taylor, a close companion during her most tumultuous years. Taylor had been by her side through major campaigns and scandals, but her return brought unease. "Amelia, I've been watching you for a long time," Taylor said softly but with a hint of something unspoken. "I see you've changed, but I'm not sure others will see it that way." Amelia felt a pang of unease but maintained her composure. "I just want to help those in need, Taylor, not for profit or image." "I understand," Taylor replied, her gaze tinged with sadness. "But are you sure you don't miss that world?" A week later, as Amelia was preparing a new fundraising project for orphan children in impoverished neighborhoods, she was blindsided by news. A social media post allegedly from Taylor harshly criticized Amelia, claiming she was exploiting the poor to rebuild her career. Stunned, Amelia couldn't believe her once close friend would betray her so cruelly. Matters worsened when a leaked video showed Taylor speaking with a prominent tycoon about a charity project Amelia would lead, designed solely to attract attention and secure more donations. Suspicion about Amelia's true motives reignited, dealing a devastating blow to her reputation. Feeling her world collapse, Amelia decided to confront the truth head-on. She met with Taylor in a quiet cafe late one afternoon. The air was tense from the moment they sat down. "Why did you do it?" Amelia asked, her voice heavy with disappointment. "Why betray me when I'm trying to do the right thing?" Taylor stared back coldly. "You don't understand. You're not the person I once knew. The moment you stepped into that social media world, everything changed. You stopped being yourself and became a tool for others to use." Amelia stiffened. "So I was wrong to trust you?" Taylor was silent for a long moment before replying. "It's not that you were wrong. It's that this world is wrong. People only believe in what's flashy, what's sensational. You can't save those who have been abandoned." Amelia felt a crushing weight on her chest, but instead of succumbing to despair, she resolved not to let doubt consume her. "No matter what you say, I can't give up. I still believe in what I'm doing, even if the world doesn't." While Amelia was trying to navigate the storm of criticism from old friends and public opinion, an unexpected event unfolded. She received a letter from an underground organization that claimed to help those struggling in society. The letter read, "We know what you've done, but there's a darker side you haven't seen. We need your help. If you truly want to make a change, follow us." Amelia couldn't believe her eyes but decided to follow the lead. Through several secret meetings, she uncovered a network of fake charities exploiting their name to launder money and commit heinous acts. Shockingly, some renowned organizations she once trusted were part of this network. She was astounded to realize how dark the world she had stepped into truly was. Yet amidst the challenges, she met individuals with genuine compassion who worked tirelessly and silently for a better cause. Together, they devised a plan to expose the fraudulent organizations and bring them to justice. The situation intensified as the underground crime syndicate became aware of Amelia's investigation and her intent to unveil the truth. A dangerous confrontation occurred when Amelia and her team began gathering evidence. One night, as she was returning from a meeting with an informant, her car was intercepted by unknown assailants. "Amelia, if you value your life, you'd better drop this," one of them said coldly. But this time, Amelia wasn't afraid. Recalling all that she had endured, she resolutely told herself, "There's no turning back now." She smiled confidently and replied, "If I don't continue, who will? I won't let people be deceived anymore." This confrontation wasn't just about her life. It was about justice, courage, and doing what was right. Amelia knew she couldn't stop, even if it meant risking everything. After a long struggle against the crime syndicate and aiding the victims, Amelia emerged as a transformed person. She was no longer the social media queen of her past, but a resilient woman who dared to stand up for justice. At a major charity event, Amelia once again stood before a crowd. But this time, she wasn't seeking the limelight of fame. Every gaze was on her, not with judgment or criticism, but with genuine admiration and respect. We all have the capacity to change. But change isn't just in words, it's in action. And our actions can make a difference. Having overcome immense challenges, Amelia seemed to have found her purpose. Yet her rapid success drew unwanted attention. The remnants of the criminal organizations she had exposed weren't ready to let her go unscathed. One morning, as she was preparing for an important interview about her charity campaign, Amelia received an ominous phone call. A cold voice on the other end warned, "If you don't stop now, your loved ones will pay the price." Her heart sank. She couldn't give up now. Everything had become too significant to abandon. But she also couldn't risk the safety of her loved ones. Memories of her past, old friends, and the families she had helped all came rushing back, urging her to reconsider. Amelia's doubts were dispelled when she realized she wasn't alone. Lily, her former assistant, who had stood by her during tough times, reappeared by her side. "Amelia, I've been thinking a lot about what you're doing. We'll face this together. No one can stop us when we stand united." Lily said with unwavering resolve. Lily's words reignited Amelia's confidence. She decided she wouldn't back down, no matter the cost. With Lily and a new group of allies, Amelia devised a plan to protect her loved ones while continuing the fight against the dark forces behind the criminal organizations. As they delved deeper, Amelia's team discovered a key piece of information. One of the syndicate's leaders was planning to flee the country. If they didn't act swiftly, their efforts would be in vain. With the help of an insider who decided to cooperate, Amelia uncovered details of a major drug deal set to take place the next morning at a harbor. The team couldn't afford to miss this opportunity. They prepared meticulously, coordinating with law enforcement to bring the criminals to justice. However, just before their operation, Amelia received devastating news. Her mother, whom she cherished deeply, had been kidnapped. The criminals were using her as leverage to force Amelia to halt her investigation. Once again, Amelia faced an agonizing choice: save her mother or continue her fight against the syndicate. With the support of her team and law enforcement, they devised a rescue plan. The tense hours that followed were a race against time and a dangerous game with the enemy. In a final showdown at the harbor, Amelia's team succeeded. The criminals were arrested, and her mother was safely rescued. However, this victory came at a great cost, both physically and emotionally. After securing her mother and dismantling the criminal organization, Amelia decided it was time to confront society once more. She realized she couldn't let these syndicates continue to operate and couldn't live in fear of their shadows. She began collaborating with anti-corruption organizations and advocacy groups to establish a system that genuinely supported the underprivileged. Amelia expanded her campaigns nationwide, organizing workshops and community initiatives to educate and empower those who had been exploited. Despite ongoing threats, the strength of solidarity between Amelia and her allies created a powerful wave of change. Her journey became a testament to the power of resilience, courage, and collective action, inspiring countless individuals to believe that even in a broken world, they could make a difference. A few months later, Amelia was invited to an international human rights conference to share her story and the charitable campaigns she had built. This time, she was no longer the woman seeking fame, but a warrior for justice, fighting for the homeless and standing for the truth. At the conference, Amelia spoke. "This world is not perfect. We may not be able to change everything, but we can do what is right. Even if it costs us everything, even if we have to stand alone, we cannot give up. That is what I've learned." Her words resonated deeply with everyone in attendance. Amelia wasn't just a woman who had battled the darkness. She was a symbol of perseverance, kindness, and courage. In the end, the truth prevailed, and she proved to everyone that people can change and that kindness will always shine, even in the darkest of times. Amelia's story ends here, but her message lives on in everyone's hearts. Always believe in yourself because you can change the world. As Amelia achieved remarkable success in her work for justice and charity, she realized that life could never truly reach a definitive conclusion. Challenges could arise at any moment, but what truly mattered was how we chose to face them. Though she had weathered many storms, Amelia understood that every day she lived, she would continue to fight for a fairer world. It was a journey without an end, because the world doesn't just need heroes in times of crisis. It needs those who persist, who don't give up even when everything seems stable. Sitting alone on a beach one evening, as the golden sunset bathed her face, Amelia sighed with relief. She was no longer the person who once sought validation through social media. She had learned to find fulfillment within herself, in actions she knew were right. Justice is a long journey, but as long as each of us perseveres, we can make a difference, Amelia whispered, as if sharing her thoughts with herself and those who followed her story. Amelia's story may have concluded, but her journey never truly ended. The same is true for each of us. There are always new challenges and opportunities ahead. If this story has inspired and motivated you, don't hesitate to share it and spread its message of perseverance, kindness, and justice. Click like, share, and subscribe to ensure you don't miss more inspiring and meaningful stories. Share your thoughts on Amelia's story in the comments below. Together we can make a difference, starting with small acts of kindness every day. Thank you for following and joining Amelia on this challenging journey. Let's continue to write beautiful stories about kindness, resilience, and belief in a better world. Click subscribe now to stay inspired with future stories full of hope and motivation.